excited to have our first SEC home game. Get back in front of our fans. It's been a little while, so we're excited. Ole Miss they're interesting. They're deep. They've got a lot of guys that scored. Their bench has been good. Ruffin's really talented player that's still trying to recover from the injury. They've got a lot of different guys that can beat you. And they've got a lot of different guys that have played 7 minutes and scored a decent amount in different games. So a little bit unpredictable that way, and just who's going to score for them on a particular night. The one constant they've had going is Morrell, who's really talented. We tried to recruit him out of high school. He shoots it well. He does everything pretty well. So got to make sure we're locked into him. But you got to be ready for all their different defenses and mix in 1-3-1, 2-3, and got some traps, presses. Play a decent amount of man-to-man as well. But Coach Davis is one of the better coaches in all of college basketball as far as history goes. I think he's close to top 150 in career wins, which is hard to do with as many coaches. So he's going to have them ready to play. It's going to be a tough game. Shoot, they almost beat Tennessee. They played Tennessee as tough as anybody here recently. Their last game out. So our guys got to be locked in and ready to go tomorrow night.
Charlie.
Yeah, Chris, this is kind of a little off topic, but Dan Cosby announced he's going to enroll with you guys. How much does that not only benefit him, but give you guys an extra body of practice?
It's going to help us quite a bit as far as practice goes. I think he's a good player, a good shooter. He'll start to learn the system. We get with Henry, our strength coach, start to get his body right. It's just different. You can do a lot more in college, a lot more resources. And then I think he'll help our scout team too. Make our guys better. So it'd be good to have him around the program. Just he'll learn. It'll be great for him for next year. I think he'll be, more prepared. He was older now. He's about the same age as like Clowney and some of our freshmen anyway. So I think it's good to get him in. It's good for him. It'll be good for us both.
James, you talked about just facing different defenses that Ole Miss is going to throw at you. I know basketball is just a few adjustments, and that tends to happen anyway. But with Ole Miss being able to do so many different things on offense, what's the strategy to combat that?
I don't think you can sit there and stare at the defense, try to figure out what it is. Like, you got to be pretty aggressive. As you guys all know, we play fast. I think if you're able to attack the defense before it's set up, no matter what defense it is, I think that's to our advantage. That's how we'd like to play. In the flow. Kermit said that 1-3-1, he's run forever. We've seen it ever since we've been here. It's caused us some issues in the past, and we've done really well in the past. It obviously helps to have shooting out there no matter what zone they're playing, but we've got to stay aggressive. We can't let them changing defenses. We don't want guys sitting back staring at them trying to figure out this is what we're going to do against it. Like, we'd like to just and with the way we play, it's not a huge change in how we attack different. We're going to space the floor pretty well. We're going to get aggressive downhill attacks. Now, obviously, you got to know where the defensive rotations are coming from. But we're going to try to get to a 2-on-1 on the backside. It'll be a little different with the zones. But, yeah, we have issues where it starts to slow us down and we overreact to it and sit there and stare at it for too long. We can't do that.
Is this I'm walking with you.
Yeah, I got you. I'm over.
Is this a trap game of sorts? I think we've already seen commercials about the game against Kentucky over the weekend, but like you said, Ole Miss is played Mississippi tough and they're tough-sided. And what does it say about your team's mental approach and how they?
Yeah, it could be because we've had a week, and I didn't realize they have commercials about Kentucky already, but I'm sure our players know. We haven't talked 1 second about Kentucky. We'll get to them once the Ole Miss game's over, but I'm sure our players know that it's hanging out there. So it definitely could be a trap game if we've not mature enough to handle it. But look, Ole Miss is a good team. They're going to be right in the thick of it, like in SEC play. I think they just proved that. They obviously had the loss to North Alabama, which it's a tough loss, and that makes it look maybe they're not a good team. But I mean, if you look at, they've got some real quality wins, and then they just played Tennessee, who a lot of people had to pick. They picked to win the SEC. They're playing as good as anybody in the SEC, and they played Tennessee, to the wire. Shoot, they had them. They were up a lot of the game. So we definitely, if we were immature and we had these issues last year, and we told our guys too, last year we were 2-0 in SEC play, went on the road to Missouri and lost to Missouri and started a 3-game skid. Like we can't do that stuff this year. Like we've got to take, a home game against Ole Miss is a game you're supposed to win if you're trying to win the league. We know that. But Ole Miss isn't trying to go down 0-2 to start SEC play either. So they're going to be playing really hard, scrappy, fighting, clawing, and they got some talented players that can make plays and beat you.
Like, how much was that state game a challenge to toughness of this roster?
I think it definitely was because that's what they hang their hat on. I mean, they were in the top 25 because they had won so many games based on playing tougher, harder. And so we challenge our guys, like we need to be the harder playing, tougher team, and we thought we were more talented than them. And if the more talented team plays harder and more together, they're going to win the game. So I think our guys answered the bell, particularly in the second half. Still had too many turnovers, but I thought we played harder, and we obviously had some better shooters. They struggled with the free throw line too, which helps, but that goes into some skill. Like, skilled players typically step the line and make free throws, and I thought our guys did a good job. When 14 of 18 at the line, we need to shoot well from the free throw line again tomorrow night.
Kate.
I'm just talking to the guys about rotation and minutes. Mark said there aren't any cancers on this team. How are you kind of seeing guys embracing their role, whether it's starting or getting a few minutes off the bench?
Yeah, you know what? I think one of the guys you look to in particular when you think about that is Quinterly. I mean, he's a kid that's been SEC tournament MVP and played really well for us for 2 years. He's coming back off the ACL, and he's got 11 minutes last game. Houston game, he didn't play particularly well and didn't score much, and he's as happy as anybody can be for the team. He wants to get himself going. We want to get him going, but until he's back comfortable and playing the way he is, he's all in with. He'll still be all in with the team being the best it can be, but whoever needs to play to win the game. So when you got a guy like that, that's like that. Noah Gurley's been here, one of the older guys on the team, understands that we've got some young kids that are playing really well, and some games is going to get more minutes. He's played a lot of minutes in some big games that we've won, and then some other games he hasn't played as much, but he's got a great attitude. Quinterly's got a great attitude. And I think the young guys are just trying to learn and get better. Rylan Griffin's minutes have been a little bit inconsistent at times based on who else is playing well, who hasn't. He's had a great attitude, just keeps getting better too. So I agree with Mark. I don't think we've got any cancers. I think everybody's all in on making sure the team's playing the best it can be, and lets the coaching staff do what we need to play the guys that are playing best that particular night to try to get us a win, and then we get back in the gym and try to get better.
Makes one more for that question. It's great to have Don back in the rotation, but with him working himself back tomorrow, or obviously, a ways away, how challenging it is a coach to, kind of continue to solidify that rotation when both teams going into conference play already have their solid rotation?
Yeah, I mean, Dom's back with us. He only played just under 10 minutes last game. Hopefully we can get him more minutes this game. Just, you play the guys that are playing hard, playing well, and playing best with each other in different games. I mean, even early non-conference, North Carolina game, you had all those minutes or overtimes. Some guys that hadn't played heavy minutes were playing heavy minutes because they were playing well there. I mean, you just got to figure that out. It's, ideally you got a good rotation that's consistent throughout every game all year. Well, that's not in sports. It's not the way it works. When Amari gets healthy, we're gonna have to work him back in rotation. So, it's good to have competition. It's good it makes each other better. So it's good to have Don back in. I thought he's played great in practice the last 3 days. I anticipate him getting more minutes than he did at Mississippi State, because I think he's getting better and better. We're just gonna have to figure out who's gonna get more, who's gonna get less, and game to game, it'll probably be determined a little bit by who's playing better, who's not, who's in foul trouble, who's not. Just we didn't anticipate Pringle playing, as many more minutes than Charles as he had to against Mississippi State, but we needed him for all those minutes. And I thought he played well in those minutes.
Next. On the topic of trap games, you had some games in the non-conference slate that before a big game. What did you learn in those games from your team that maybe you take into account on this?
I don't think we ever lost a game overlooking somebody getting to the next one in the non-conference. I thought we handled our business pretty well, played hard, but so we can definitely learn something from that. What we've been talking to though, this is the SEC. Ole Miss has SEC players. They got McDonald's All-Americans. They have guys that can play. Like some of them are coming back from injury and getting better and better. Some, have been inconsistent, but they're more than capable of having big nights. So, we can't overlook anybody ever, and I think I don't think we did that in the non-conference. But if you look at our two losses, I don't think anybody was overlooking UConn. I don't think anybody was overlooking Gonzaga. So we haven't had a loss like that yet. And we did have some teams that were, maybe not as highly rated, ranked, whatever. And I thought we took them seriously for the most part, like we needed to. Ole Miss is not that though. Ole Miss is an SEC team with a lot of talent that we've got to play well to win. So if we're overlooking Ole Miss to get to Kentucky, we're 100% going to lose against Ole Miss because they're a really talented, good SEC team.